In this video, we'll be talking about the albums by 3 Days Grace. The band has recorded 7 studio albums spanning the past 19 years. So let me talk about them now. The albums will be ranked from worst to best. This ranking is all subjective, so feel free to put your ranking in the comment section or let me know how you would change my ranking. So with that being said, let me get right into it. At number 7, I have Outsider from 2018. Now, given that this is at the bottom, I wouldn't say that it is a bad album, but it does go in a very commercial direction. This is one of the albums with Matt Walsh on vocals, who replaced Adam Gontier in 2013. The lyrics are similar to the other albums. They talk about feelings and other serious topics. The song that stands out is called The Mountain. This one has some electronic beats and distorted vocals. The lyrics talk about coping with difficult times, and this is something that The Mountain represents. I Am an Outsider has an opening riff. It reminds me of like Marilyn Manson's cover of Sweet Dreams. Nothing to Lose But You. It's a ballad about someone fighting their demons. So this album's not that bad. It's just more of a commercial sound. And for that reason, I have it at number 7. At number 6, I have Human from 2015. This was the first album with Matt Walsh on vocals. The song that stands out on this is I Am Machine. The song combines electronic sounds with some of the heavier guitar sound, like from their earlier days. It's a very catchy song, very well-written lyrics about mental health and depression, and really good song, but the rest of the album is not very memorable. They have a song called Painkiller. It's actually not the Judas Priest song, but not too bad. It has some heavy elements, but in the end, it's just a really catchy pop song. One Too Many is a decent song and has a modern rock or goth rock sound. And it's also pretty catchy, so the album is decent, but the other ones are just a lot better. At number 5, I have Transit of Venus from 2012. This was their last album with Adam Gontier, and this one you can hear they're evolving into more of like a pop sound, but they still retain some of their heavier elements from their previous albums. They also start to incorporate more electronics here. I think the album is very consistent. There are not many songs that stand out as singles, but the album works very well as a whole. Some of the songs I like, Chalk Outline incorporates some of that dubstep that was popular at the time. The High Road, it's a ballad with lyrics filled with emotion, and I think my favorite song is Misery Loves Company. It has some like post-grunge or alternative metal riffs that are known for it, but the lyrics are very well written. So for that reason, I have it at number 5. At number 4, I have the new one, Explosions from 2022. Now, I know this one was very kind of decisive. A lot of fans did not like it, but I feel it is the best out of the 3 Matt Walsh albums. The opening single, So-Called Life, this one has grown on me a lot. One of the best songs in the last few years. My only complaint with this album is that it's very like ballad heavy. The songwriting does make up for it, though. The lyrics are filled with emotion, and some of other favorites are A Scar Is Born and Chain of Abuse, but also some of the heavier, more uplifting songs like Champion. Now that one kind of has a commercial sound, but I thought it was very good. And Souvenirs, it's very catchy, and I really like the lyrics, how they use kind of the word, souvenirs as a metaphor for the memories we hold on to. So even though it is kind of commercial sound, it has ballads, I think the songs are very well written, and the album is very consistent. There weren't any bad songs, and for that reason, I have it at number 4. At number 3, I have Life Starts Now from 2009. This is their 3rd album and also a very consistent album. This one has Adam Gontier on vocals, and at this point in the band's career, they were still creating heavy music in like an alternative metal or post-grunge style. This is another album that might not have standout songs, but the album as a whole is very good. The album opener, Bitter Taste, has some really heavy riffs, and Break, that was one of the singles, and that mixes the heavy and the light very well, and at the same time being a very catchy song. This one has a style similar to their first 2 albums, and you now know they are in the first 2 spots, of course. Other songs, World So Cold, and that was a single, a heavy song similar to the first 2 albums. Lost in You, that one's more of like 90s grunge or alternative rock. This one has a really nice melody. The Good Life, another single, shows off their heavier side with that like 2000s new metal sound. And some of my other favorites are Someone Who Cares. This is a song that stands out because it has the line, it has the chorus, and it's like, it's so hard to find someone who cares about you, but easy enough to find someone who looks down on you. So This is something we all know it's true. We've all experienced it, and these songs resonate with you. And another song I like a lot called Bully, just because of the subject matter, and it's also like a heavy, like a nu metal sound. So it's a very solid album, but the ones before it are much better. At number 2, I have the Self-Titled debut album from 2003, and this is their heaviest album. It has a sound similar to the nu metal of the time period, and the album is just good start to finish. The album opens with Burn, and this is not one of the singles, but just kicks off the album very well with like the heavy guitar riffs. Just Like You, that was one of the hit songs. It has the heavy riffs, the lyrics dealing with some heavy emotions. Sound very catchy. I Hate Everything About You, one of the most well-known songs. They have a very memorable acoustic guitar riff and heavy guitars. And it has the chorus, they sing, I hate everything about you. Why do I love you? Now, that line, it just sticks in your head. We all know it's true. And Home. This is actually my favorite song. It just paints a picture of living in a house with someone who just makes your life miserable. Something we probably all experienced at one point or another. And the rest of the album is just very good. Sounds a lot heavier than the other albums. And the album just reminds me a lot of actually the band Korn. You hear a lot of their influence on there. And at number 1, I have 1X from 2006. This is their second album. And I think they kind of took what they did on the first one, and they did it a lot better. The album is just great from start to finish, and it's still heavy, but they're moving towards more of like a post-grunge sound. So they do kind of like strike the perfect balance between like the heavy and the melodic. And great songs. It starts with It's All Over, a heavy song. It's really good. Follows up with Pain. This one is mixes the heavy and light, has a really chunky nu metal riffs and melodic burst sections. Animal I Become. This one has that memorable bass line followed by those nu metal riffs. This is just a great song and awesome lyrics about facing your demons. Never Too Late is an acoustic ballad, has both those like heavy and light sections, talking about someone contemplating suicide, and the rest of the album is just very good. Some of the songs are heavy, some are more grungy, but this album is like a little softer than the debut album, but the songs are much better, and for that reason I have it at number 1. That is all. Let me know in the comments what you thought of the ranking. Up next, the other 3 albums that I have on my community post. They would be Misery Index, Jungle Rot, and Visions of Atlantis. And my next ranking will be Hailstorm. So that will come up in the upcoming week, hopefully. So please remember, like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you all in the next one.